Millions of years ago, long before written language or tools of metal, the world was a vast and dangerous expanse of raw, untamed wilderness. Early humans, our distant ancestors still discovering fire and the meaning of community, lived at the mercy of a planet where they were far from the top of the food chain. The Earth at that time was ruled by giants. Saber-toothed cats with canines longer than a man's hand, hyenas the size of lions, monstrous bears, enormous crocodiles and predatory birds with wings wider than any modern eagle. Every day brought a new threat, every step carried risk, and every sunrise demanded courage. The band of early humans known today as the Kalu clan lived on the edge of a vast savanna where tall grasses swayed like golden oceans beneath the sun. They were nomads, following the migration of animals, relying on berries, roots, and small prey to survive. Their lives were built around cooperation and vigilance. Without both, extinction lurked just beyond the trees. At the heart of their clan was Rana, a young female barely entering adulthood. Though small compared to the towering males of her tribe, she carried a fierce spirit. Her eyes were sharp, her movements swift, and her mind hungry to understand the world. She had already survived encounters with giant predators, near misses that had left her determined not just to live, but to protect the lives of those she loved. One crisp morning, the Kalu clan prepared to move camp. Their previous home near a shallow river had attracted too many dangers. Tracks of a massive saber-toothed cat, deep, wide, nearly the size of Rana's face, had been found near the water. At night, the clan could hear its low growls, vibrating through the earth like distant thunder. They knew it was only a matter of time before the beast approached too close. Survival meant moving, and move they must. Rana walked beside her mother, Suri, who carried a pouch filled with herbs and roots, medicine for the clan. Suri was a healer, one of the most respected members of their people. Her gentle humming kept the children calm as they walked, though even she could not mask the tension in the air. The savanna opened before them, stretching endlessly like a land forged for giants. Herds of prehistoric bison grazed in the distance. Enormous birds, teratorns, soared overhead with wings longer than the height of two grown men, scanning the ground for weak or wounded animals to snatch. Even the wind carried warnings, scents of blood, predators, and storms. By midday, the clan reached a rocky outcrop overlooking a valley. This, they decided, would be their new home. The rocks provided shelter from wind and vantage points to spot dangers. The valley below was rich with food sources, roots hidden beneath soft soil, small mammals darting from hole to hole, and fruit trees along a distant stream. But the valley also carried shadows. Giant hyenas roamed there in packs, laughing in hideous voices that echoed through the dusk. The Kalu clan understood they must act quickly to fortify their new camp. The men gathered rocks to build a semicircle defense wall. The women collected wood for fires. Fire was life itself, heat, protection, and warning. Predators feared flame, and so the clan kept it alive at all times. No night passed without glowing embers at their center. Rana, eager to prove herself, joined a small hunting group tasked with tracking small animals for the day's dinner. They carried sharpened sticks and stone tools, simple yet effective. Their leader, Torga, was a seasoned hunter with scars across his arms and chest, each a reminder of an encounter he had survived. As they trekked deeper into the valley, the air shifted. Birds fell silent. The grass no longer rustled. Even the distant roars of predators faded to nothing. Rana felt a chill run down her spine. Torga raised his hand, signaling them to stop. He crouched low, sniffing the air, listening. Then Rana saw it. A massive claw print pressed into the soft earth. It was fresh, very fresh. The print was wide, with deep grooves where the claws had sunk. This was no zebra or bison. This belonged to a creature built for killing. A short-faced bear, the most terrifying predator of their time, often stood over 3 meters tall and could run faster than any human alive. One swipe of its paw could shatter a skull. Rana's breath caught. The hunting party exchanged nervous glances. They all understood what this meant. They were standing in the territory of a monster. Torga motioned for them to retreat. Slowly. Quietly. One wrong step could mean someone wouldn't return. But fate had other plans. From the shadow of a tree, a shape stirred. A massive head emerged, followed by a hulking body covered in thick brown fur. The bear's nose twitched. It stood to its full height, towering above the hunters like a mountain come alive. Rana felt the ground tremble beneath her feet. For a moment, no one moved. Even the wind seemed frozen. Then Torga hissed, "Run." The hunters bolted through the grass. The bear roared, a sound so loud it echoed through the valley and reverberated through Rana's bones. She sprinted faster than she ever had in her life, her legs burning, her lungs screaming. Behind them, she could hear the pounding footsteps of the beast closing in. Rana zigzagged through bushes, leapt over fallen logs, and forced herself forward even when her limbs begged her to stop. She knew that slowing meant death. Up ahead, the rocky outcrop came into view. Members of the clan noticed the hunters racing toward them and rushed to help. Warriors brandished spears ready to protect their own. Rana stumbled as she neared the camp, collapsing into her mother's arms. The bear stopped just short of the defensive wall, roaring in frustration as spears and torches waved in its face. Firelight flickered across its furious eyes, keeping it at bay. After what felt like eternity, the beast retreated into the darkness. That night, the clan gathered around the fire, shaken but grateful. Rana listened to the crackle of flames, her heart still racing. The world was cruel and filled with terrors, but the Kala clan had something the monsters did not: each other. And as long as they stayed united, there was hope. But deep in the valley, predators stirred. And this was only the beginning. The night after the bear attack passed in uneasy silence. Even with the fires burning bright and warriors standing guard, the Kala clan felt the weight of danger pressing in from all sides. Every adult knew the truth: the valley they had chosen was rich with resources, but that meant it was rich with predators too. And predators far larger, faster, and more vicious than any human. Rana woke at dawn to the soft glow of the rising sun washing over the savanna. She rubbed the sleep from her eyes, still haunted by the memory of the towering bear. Her mother sat beside her, sorting herbs and grinding them into powder. The air smelled of crushed roots and smoke. "Fear keeps us alive," Suri said without looking up, sensing her daughter's unease. "But too much of it will freeze your spirit. We must learn balance." Rana nodded, though her thoughts wandered. She was determined to prove herself not just as a survivor, but as a protector of her people. But the world outside the camp was already shifting. A distant rumble echoed across the valley, the sound of hooves, hundreds of them. The clan gathered on the rocky ledges, watching a massive herd of prehistoric bison stampede toward the far river. Such movements often meant one thing: predators on the hunt. Torga, the hunting leader, joined them. His gaze was fixed on the horizon. "We must be ready. When giants move, larger giants follow." He was right. The arrival of the bison meant that saber-toothed cats, giant hyenas, and packs of dire wolves would soon be on the prowl. The savanna was alive with conflict, every species constantly battling for dominance and survival. The hunt begins. Later that morning, Torga organized a scouting group. They needed information: where predators roamed, where food was safest to gather, and where water could be approached without risking ambush. Rana insisted on joining, and this time Torga allowed it. Her courage during the bear chase had earned her respect. The group of 5 humans moved cautiously across the tall grass, staying low and alert. Every rustle could hide danger. The world felt vast, every shadow a potential killer. As they approached a low ridge overlooking a shallow pond, Rana noticed unusual tracks in the mud, large paws but not as heavy as the bear's. "Torga," she whispered, pointing. He knelt beside her. His eyes narrowed. "Saber-tooth," he said. "A big one." Rana felt her heartbeat quicken. Saber-toothed cats were the most feared predators of their time. Broad-chested with powerful forelegs and enormous fangs, they could take down prey many times their size. Unlike modern big cats, they hunted with startling bursts of strength, ambushing victims with silent precision. The group advanced further, staying behind clusters of rocks. Then they saw it. A massive smilodon crouched beside the pond, its muscles rippling beneath golden fur. Its saber teeth glinted in the sunlight like polished ivory. It drank from the water, oblivious to the humans watching from above, but not for long. The cat lifted its head, sniffing the air. Rana froze. Torga slowly raised his hand, signaling everyone to remain still. For a moment, the smilodon's eyes scanned the ridge. Its ears flicked. The hunters held their breath. A rustle to the left broke the silence. Another predator emerged, this one smaller but faster. A pack of giant hyenas, powerful and ruthless, approached the pond. They laughed their eerie, bone-chilling laughter, echoing across the savanna. Unlike modern hyenas, these were enormous beasts, nearly the height of lions, with jaws strong enough to crush bone in a single bite. The smilodon snarled, baring its deadly fangs. The hyenas responded with their own gruff growls. Tension thickened the air. Rana whispered, "They will fight." Torga nodded. "We leave. Now." While the predators were distracted, the humans slipped away through the grass, retreating toward the camp. They moved fast, knowing that when giants clashed they had no business being near. Fire and stone. Back at camp, the clan prepared for the long day ahead. The scouting team shared their discoveries, prompting the warriors to reinforce the defensive wall and store extra wood for fire. Fire was the greatest weapon early humans possessed, one of the few tools that could intimidate even the most fearsome beasts. The clan's elder, Geru, summoned the adults. "We must adapt," he said with a gravelly voice. "The valley is rich but we are small. If we fail to prepare we will be hunted. But if we learn, if we work together, we will thrive." Under his guidance they developed new methods of defense. Stones were sharpened more carefully, spears hardened in flames, and watchers were assigned elevated perches on the rocks. That evening Rana joined her mother to collect herbs near the stream. The sun dipped low, painting the sky with orange hues. Birds began to roost and insects hummed in the growing dusk. As they filled their baskets, a sudden splash made them spin around. The water rippled. Suri grabbed Rana's wrist. "Back away." But it was too late. A monstrous shape lunged from the shallows. A giant crocodile, twice the length of a grown man, exploded from the water with jaws wide open. Its teeth gleamed like daggers, its eyes cold with ancient hunger. Rana stumbled back as the creature snapped where she had stood just seconds earlier. Suri pushed her. "Run." They sprinted toward the camp, shouting for help. The crocodile thrashed forward, dragging its massive weight partially onto the shore, its tail lashing violently. The ground shook with the force of its movements. Warriors heard the cries and rushed with torches and spears. As the croc lumbered after Rana and Suri, they formed a wall of fire between the beast and the women. The crocodile hissed, jaws gaping, but the flames forced it to halt. It snapped angrily, swinging its tail, but the humans held their ground. After several tense moments, the giant reptile retreated back into the water, disappearing beneath the dark surface. Rana collapsed, trembling. She had escaped death again, but the message was clear. Danger lived everywhere. The storm of predators. Over the next several days, chaos descended upon the valley. The bison migration triggered a chain reaction of predator movements. Packs of dire wolves arrived, shadowing the herds. Giant hyenas roamed the plains in frightening numbers. The Smilodon, whose territory bordered the pond, grew aggressive, sensing competition. One night, the clan awoke to the sound of distant roaring. The ground vibrated. Shadows darted across the slopes. The predators were fighting nearby, and moving closer. Torches were lit. Spears raised. The humans huddled together, listening. Rana peered into the darkness, heart pounding. Then she saw them, two massive shapes wrestling violently near the lower rocks. The Smilodon battled a hyena twice Rana's size. The hyena snapped at the cat's legs, while the Smilodon slashed with its enormous forelimbs. Blood sprayed across the grass. The beasts roared, snarled, and rolled, locked in a deadly struggle. The humans watched in horror, too afraid to move. But something worse followed. A second Smilodon appeared from the shadows. Then a pack of hyenas. And finally the giant bear, drawn by the scent of blood. The predators clashed in a horrifying symphony of violence. Teeth tore flesh. Claws ripped hide. The air filled with growls, screams, and the wet sounds of bodies colliding. Weeks passed, and the Kalu clan slowly transformed their camp into a bastion of survival. Elevated sleeping platforms stood between trees and boulders like woven nests. Stone noise traps surrounded the perimeter, ready to clatter if disturbed. Spears hardened by fire leaned in piles, and thick bundles of dry branches lay ready to ignite at a moment's notice. But for all their efforts, the world beyond their rocky shelter continued its relentless assault. Predators still roamed the valley, their calls echoing across the night. The bison herds had long since migrated onward, leaving behind a vacuum that hungry beasts sought to fill. Smilodons patrolled the tall grass. Dire wolves moved in packs along the ridges. Giant hyenas monitored the streams for vulnerable prey. And somewhere, always watching, lurked the short-faced bear, the towering monster whose shadow had haunted Rana since the day of their encounter. Even with innovations and teamwork, life remained a delicate dance between caution and courage. The disappearance. One morning the clan awoke to unsettling news. A young hunter named Rocco had not returned from gathering water before sunrise. His absence sent a ripple of dread through the camp. The valley, though rich, was unforgiving, and no one survived alone for long. Torga organized a search party immediately. Rana volunteered without hesitation. Though fear gnawed at her, she knew she could not let another clan member vanish into the jaws of the beasts. The searchers moved in formation through the tall grass. The early light shimmered across dew-coated blades, masking everything in a silvery haze. Birds sang from treetops, unaware of the tension below. Rana scanned the ground for signs: broken stems, disturbed dirt, tracks. Then she found something. A torn piece of hide from Rocco's water pouch. Her stomach clenched. Torga crouched over the scrap, examining the earth around it. "Tracks," he said. "2 sets. A predator pursued him." Rana swallowed hard. "What kind?" Torga pointed to deep prints, rounded, with long claw grooves. "Hyena. One of the giant ones." Rana felt a cold wave of dread. A single hyena could overpower a lone human easily. If Rocco had been caught. But something about the tracks didn't add up. The footprints stopped suddenly, as if the hyena had been interrupted, or chased away. They continued forward cautiously until they reached a clearing near the stream. What they saw made Rana's heart lurch. Blood soaked the soil. But no body lay there, neither human nor beast. Torga knelt, touching the earth. A struggle. But not a kill. Rocco escaped, or was taken. Rana looked at the river, its quiet surface reflecting the sky. A crocodile? Another predator? She felt dizzy from possibilities. Torga rose, eyes sharp. "We must follow." The lair of shadows. The tracks grew sparse and confusing as the group moved deeper into the valley. Twisted roots and dense bushes obscured the signs. But eventually they found a trail, a narrow path leading toward a cluster of rocky caves. Rana felt her pulse quicken. Caves meant shelter, but often for predators. They approached slowly, spears raised. A foul smell drifted from within: rot, decay, bones. "Hyena." Torga whispered, "Stay alert." The cave interior was dim. Bones littered the floor, small animals, larger ones, fragments of skulls. A hyena's den. Then Rana heard it, a faint moan. She rushed forward. Rocco lay against the far wall, weak but alive, his leg bleeding from a deep wound. His eyes fluttered open when he heard her voice. "Rana. I tried to run." She knelt beside him. "You're safe now." But they were not safe, not yet. A low growl echoed behind them. The hyena had returned. It emerged from the shadows with startling speed, muscular, enormous, its jaws dripping saliva. Its eyes gleamed with savage fury at finding humans in its lair. Rana froze. Torga shoved her aside as the hyena lunged. The fight was instantaneous and brutal. Torga rammed his spear into the beast's shoulder, but the hyena bit down on the shaft, snapping it in half. Hunters rushed forward, striking from all sides. The hyena swung its massive head, throwing one fighter against the cave wall. Another narrowly dodged its crushing jaws. Rana grabbed a fallen stone shard, gripping it tightly. She saw the beast turn toward Torga, who had lost his weapon. Without thinking, she sprinted forward and slammed the shard into the hyena's flank. The beast yelped, spinning toward her. She stumbled backward, falling hard. The hyena lunged. But a spear thrust from behind pierced the creature's ribs. It collapsed with a final, shuddering groan. Silence filled the cave. Rana's breath trembled. Her hands shook, but she had acted, and survived. They lifted Rocco carefully and began the journey back. The battle had taken its toll on all of them, yet it also united them more deeply. Humans survived not by strength but by standing together. The monster returns. The clan rejoiced at Rocco's return, though fear lurked behind their smiles. If a giant hyena had dragged him off, then predators were growing more aggressive, venturing dangerously close to the camp. And they were right. 2 nights later, as the moon hung low over the valley, a thunderous roar shattered the silence. Rana bolted upright on the platform. The bear had returned. Torches flared, warriors scrambled, and the entire clan snapped into action. The massive silhouette of the short-faced bear approached the camp, its eyes glowing with primal rage. It had been wounded recently, deep claw marks scarred its flank, likely from the predator battle days earlier. Injured and desperate, it now sought easy prey. Humans. The bear struck the stone wall with terrifying force, sending rocks tumbling. The noise traps clattered loudly, echoing through the night, but the beast did not flinch. Rana watched in horror as it battered the wall again. Spears jabbed at its snout. Firebrands waved frantically. But the monster pushed forward, roaring, saliva flying from its open jaws. If it broke through, the clan would be slaughtered. Geru the elder shouted, "Light the barrier." This was the final line of defense, a ring of dried branches soaked in animal fat, placed in front of the main entrance. Rana grabbed a burning torch, sprinting toward the barrier with several others. As they reached it, the bear lunged, swiping at the warriors. One man was thrown aside, his scream piercing the night. Rana thrust her torch into the barrier. Flames erupted violently, racing around the camp's entrance. The heat forced the bear back with a furious bellow. It circled, trying to find another opening, only to be met by more fire and spears. But the beast would not retreat. Not yet. It charged again, this time toward Rana's side of the wall. She held her ground, heart pounding. Rana, fall back. Suri screamed. But retreat meant letting the bear through. Rana refused. She grabbed a long spear from the pile and planted her feet. The bear rose to its full height, towering above her. A mountain of muscle and fury. Its roar shook her to her core. But before it could strike, a dozen warriors rushed beside her. Together they thrust their spears. The bear roared, staggering. Firelight danced across its fur, smoke filling the air. It swung wildly, but unity gave the humans an advantage no predator could match. Another thrust. Another shout. Together they pushed. The bear finally collapsed, falling with an earth-shaking thud. Silence swept through the camp. Rana gasped for air, trembling. Around her, the warriors slowly lowered their spears, their faces pale but victorious. The beast, the terror of Ti,